All right. It looks like we're officially live. After a small little technical hiccup, we finally have this dialed in. And yeah, right. And guess what? Next week is Christmas, guys. So I thought, what the hell, why not? I would wear my ghost face Santa Claus Christmas sweater. And this was one of the reasons why my wife's work did not want me showing up to the Christmas party. And I'll have to show it to you at work, but we'll hold it up to the camera, would make everybody laugh. I actually got an award for most disturbing Christmas sweater because they did not want to see me at the party with this thing on. They were like, we are not going to have Ghostface at the Christmas party. Actually, her job this year, for whatever reason, they were like, nope, no +1s at the Christmas party. And only 30 people showed up. So I guess there was a lot of food waste at her Christmas party. But anyways, what's up, guys? The Game Awards were last week, and it's time to discuss. I know, like, come on, come on, party hats and little.
Well, I still haven't watched it. So.
What? And this is why I was like, hey, Jacob, you want to join us tonight? Because something tells me Mickey was like, oh, Game Awards, yawn.
Now I've seen some clips and stuff of it, and heard of some of the awards that were won, but I haven't seen the actual show.
So everybody, this is why we call it the Crazy and Casual Podcast. Me and Jacob were crazy enough to watch the Video Game Awards, the 3-hour marathon that it was. And Mickey over here, the casual guy, was like, fuck that. I'm just going to read some articles.
Dude, he's eating dinner.
He was eating dinner. We make Jacob, dude, last night, this guy, we're going to still play games tonight. Oh, yeah. It's 10:15. 11:30 rolls around. We still playing games? I just finished dinner. You ate dinner for an hour and 15 minutes? What the fuck? Did you make love to it? But anyways, all right. So, guys, what you been playing? We'll start with Jacob first.
Path of Exile 2. That's it.
That is it.
I haven't really been playing anything except for that.
All right, well, fair enough. And before we get to Mickey over here, what's up, by the way, Adidas? Thank you for being the first person in the chat. What's up to you, good sir? Faded Blaze, what's up? He's getting his PC this week. Jacob, welcome. Go on. Welcome to the dark side. Go on, Jake. Do you want to tell him? Like, are you gonna get his address, send him the secret decoder ring?
Yeah, pretty much. No, that's good. What are the specs?
Faded Blaze, Jacob's wanting you to put your specs in the chat.
Yeah.
And Adidas and Sanchez MTZ Gaming. We've got, Adidas says the Sony Awards more like it, with Sanchez coming in with the Pony Awards. And
the Pony
and Faded Blaze hit it right there. Let's be real. People only watch the VGA for reveals. I would have to kind of agree. Like, I'm going to say, there is times that I just want to fall into some kind of narcolepsy staring into freaking Jeff Keighley's eyes, I guess.
Dude, he looks tired, man.
And I called it. I was like, yay, we get to look forward to the Muppets at the video. I'm going to say it right now. At least he sticks to his guns. He has a passion, and boy, does he want the Muppets there every freaking year.
That's no joke.
But, dude, they heckled him the whole... I thought it was weird. I'm just like, we're going to have the Muppets heckle me the whole time for stuff that people... It's like he's self-aware of what he's doing and the debates he's creating, and he's just like, I'm going to go with it, but I'm going to have the Muppets heckle me for it. Blah, 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 blah. All right. But, all right, Mickey, what have you been playing, good sir?
Path of Exile 2 as well.
Okay.
Also, Marvel Rivals. I actually even played a little bit of Suicide Squad, too. Not like a lot. I just kind of wandered around in the world. You were at work. How am I supposed to invite you?
Oh, I see what you do while I'm at work. I
Yeah,
see how
play
it is.
video games.
You go behind my back and do things behind my back while I'm at work.
Yeah, like video game. Yeah, that's true. I do.
What's up,
I do
Mr.
that.
Glass? That means that Jeff is self-aware that he's a pony. All right.
Hmm.
Well, we got Path to Exile 2 out of both these guys. And
Mhm.
you also said Suicide
Rivals.
Squad and Marvel
Yeah,
Rivals. Apparently, Mickey's
Marvel
been
Rivals.
crushing it
Yes.
on Marvel Rivals today. It was Mickey's day off, so he actually got some decent gaming in.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a confession. I've been all over the damn place playing all sorts of damn games. I have been playing on my PS5 trying to get through Horizon Forbidden West. And I've been doing that, but I also keep going back over playing obviously Fireteam Elite with Mickey here.
Oh, that too. Yes,
we're
we've been
still playing
that too,
Aliens
that's true.
Fireteam Elite. There's that.
That's actually pretty fun, by the way.
It's actually a pretty fun game. Yeah,
really
I will
fun.
agree. That's
Yeah,
a fun
it is.
game. And then also, let's see, Alien Fireteam Elite. I've been playing the crap out of Indiana Jones. I've pretty much completed the Vatican and the Egypt maps. I'm now doing the one that's up in the Himalayas, and I already know that the game looks like it's probably going to kind of cap off and like I don't want to give like I'm not going to give spoilers. Fuck that. I'm not trying to be that way. But I want to say I'm probably at maybe halfway through Indiana Jones.
Nice.
And then there is I've never played it before, and I thought, what the hell, why not? Dead Rising. I probably logged maybe 4 or 5 hours in that game yesterday. I want to say I like the game mechanic. For never playing it before, I'm enjoying the game mechanic, but now I'm picking up. I know, Jacob, you've played it before, right?
Yeah.
It's a game that's designed to be played more than once, right?
I feel like, yeah.
Okay, because that's where there was times I kind of got a little annoyed when I was like, you defeated the guy in the first beginning where you defeat the 3 prisoners out in the middle of the mall, and you're like, all right, I defeated them. And then you come back out and they're back, and you're like, okay, that ain't cool. You're just gonna respawn the 3 dudes back. But it's only happened twice, so I don't know what that was about.
Maybe that's something to remaster. I don't. I played it on the 360 like probably like 10 years ago or something.
So I've even noticed some like weird stuff from like back in the day with like I'm pretty sure like the limitations of the Xbox 360 that they just dealt with it. Like when you're fighting the 3 prisoners and they're in that Humvee, if they're driving away from you and you're staring at the taillights of the Humvee and you turn the camera away from them and you turn it right back like a second later, the game is basically totally reversed. Like now the Humvee is coming at you. So it was like, I was like, man, they didn't even freaking like put in the AI for this thing to just turn around. It was just like, nope, you turn the camera and it's coming right at you.
Nice.
Dark Child, what's up, good sir? Says, hey, my Xbox family and Sanchez is saying that Stalker 2 and Indy are the real game of the year. I have yet to play Stalker 2. I guess I'm a fraud in that department.
Me as well. I'm waiting.
Are you waiting for the patch for them to get the
A-Life shit, yeah.
The what's it called again?
A-Life?
A-Life, that's right, A-Life. All right, so I guess we'll get kind of like into it. Obviously, me and Jacob, we watched the Game Awards. We're not going to get into a lot of the drama right away. Let's at least be excited and let's all put in the chat and talk about it. Let's talk about like what we know is coming that was shown at the Game Awards that we're excited for, or hell, we can even be like, I was kind of like let down by this one. Like, so Faded Blaze says, heard of a content. Oh, no. I don't know. Like Jacob would have to touch on this one. Says he's heard of a content creator named VG Fight School. Very good content. He posted a video on how PC players don't want Sony exclusives.
Hmm.
That's like a thing. Yeah, I don't. I think it has mostly something to do with the Hell Divers thing, and then Pirate Software kind of like saying he's like boycotting them, and then like all of his followers are kind of boycotting them. So I think that's what's going on there, probably.
Mr. Glass says he's finished Indiana Jones and says awesome, and he is excited for Turok.
Turok,
There's what.
dude.
Let's start there. Turok.
It does not look like Turok in my head. But...
It does not look like Turok. I mean, I actually recently just played a little bit of the Turok from the Xbox 360 where they ended up on a planet, and it was like a sci-fi thing where he ended up on a planet with dinosaurs. I remember playing some of the original Turok back in the day.
Evolution.
I think it was like Turok, Turok Evolution.
Yeah, it was on the original Xbox. That shit was so good.
The one I played was, I think it was Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, with
maybe
on Nintendo 64. I remember it. I at least remember it was on a Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, my wife got me a Nintendo 64 for Christmas, so I'm excited about that. Totally going down in nostalgia land. Mickey, did you play Turok at all? Are you even familiar with it?
I've heard of it, but I haven't really played any of the Turok games, so I understand it's like dinosaur hunting and stuff like that, but I haven't actually played the games, no, so.
Okay, so it's like it was almost like I don't want to call it a Doom clone, but it was very close to being Doom, but without the hallways, a little bit more open world. And it involved dinosaurs. I mean, we all get excited for dinosaurs. But I mean, like, even Jacob said it first. Like, Jacob, what was your initial impression of Turok?
I didn't know it was Turok till I saw the label at the end that said Turok. I was like, that's Turok? And then I was kind of hyped.
So you were not hyped before you saw the word?
No, not really. But I'm going to try it out because I like Turok.
So what sucks for me is I didn't watch the Game Awards right away because you guys know, like, that night, I wasn't able to watch them live. My wife had to go to a Christmas party that was like a half hour from here. And I dropped her off because I had to play designated driver. And my wife comes out of the Christmas party a little buzzed on wine, holding a Ninja Creamy. So now I gotta look forward to my wife making homemade ice cream, which I'm actually excited about. But dude, apparently, according to what I've heard, when she won the Ninja Creamy, she screamed her lungs off. So yeah, that I didn't get to watch it until like Friday night. And I started it Friday night and I didn't finish it until Saturday night because I was just like, oh my God, 3 hours. And so I already knew about Turok. And when I watched the trailer, I was like, okay, this is cool. I know it's Turok, but I'm kind of wanting to know where this is going to go. Like, are we going, like, because obviously there was 3 people playing. Is this going to be a single player experience or is this going to be a multiplayer experience? Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's gonna be like GTA 5 where you get to change the character. No, I'm just fucking around. Yeah, probably co-op. I would imagine, or 4-player or 3-player, whatever. Trio.
But do you think the game is it gonna be like Alien? Because we speaking of which, Darkchild says he's been playing Aliens, Dark Descent, and Dungeon Defenders Awakened.
Dungeon Defenders. That's a.
I don't know. I'd have to look that one up. I know Dark Descent. I own Dark
I know
Descent.
I think Awakened is the new one, but I used to play Dungeon Defenders on the 360.
And yeah, Faded Blaze came in with Onimusha, and Elden Ring Night Rain. Yeah, Dark Child for Turok 2 Seeds of Evil, you had to have the expansion pack. I'm glad you told me that because my wife got me an all original Nintendo 64 that doesn't have the expansion pack in it. But luckily, I know a shop here in town that actually has a couple of them. So when I get to that like road and ready to cross it, or bridge and ready to cross it, I'm definitely gonna get the expansion pack, especially to play Majora's Mask. I think like for let's see, it was Turok 2, Majora's Mask, and also Perfect Dark. I know those three you needed the expansion pack for sure. But speaking of questioning whether a game is going to be full multiplayer or not, Elden Ring Night Rain. Well, Faded Blaze brought that one up first. Are any of you? Me and Mickey have been talking a little bit about it at work. Like Jacob, have you played Elden Ring?
Yeah, I can't really get into it. I got like 50 hours in it or something.
See, those games when I start them, I gotta like go all out, and I won't like stop playing it until I'm like 100% at it. That's how Lies of P was. So I need to really get into Elden Ring, like the original game. I got to get into it, but I got to like complete some of the other games I'm playing if that ever happens, Mickey. But one thing that me and Mickey were talking about and that I had read, I watched a video on YouTube with Penguin Zero. Me and Jacob knows who he is too. We always make jokes on what's the difference.
Yeah, I know who that guy is.
I was gonna say we always make jokes on what's a magazine and what's a clip. So at any rate, even I watched some of his stuff and he pointed out some of the articles that were coming out about Elden Ring Night Rain, about apparently this is going to be a lot more heavy on the multiplayer. And from what it looks like they said they wanted players to have a sense of accomplishment in playing Night Rain. And apparently, so from what is being described, is there's going to be a storm around the map. And as you play Night Rain, the storm is going to shrink. And apparently the game, like, I guess a match will take place over 3 days, like in their time, 3 days. And you're supposed to defeat a minor boss once a day before you camp. And then finally, somehow, I don't know if it's like on a fourth day or whatever, you fight like the world boss or whatever. And as the days go by, the map gets smaller and smaller and shrinks. So almost like seems like they're going down the route of a battle royale mechanic without it being a battle royale. Like, does anybody have any thoughts on this?
Almost kind of Fortnite-ish when it starts getting towards the as it brings the fog in, because we talked about that too.
Yeah, the fog.
So if they do that, then yeah, it's got a little bit of the Fortnite flavor to it.
All right.
Apparently, it's supposed to be faster than the Elden Ring game, or the Elden Ring game now. It's supposed to be faster than that, so that'll be good. And I mean, that game was freaking badass. But we'll
Which
see.
game?
The Elden Ring game.
Okay, I thought you said Elden Ring. I was gonna say. Faded Blaze says, I think it's a collaboration with From Software and Bandai Namco. By the way, Dark Child, thank you for telling me about Star Wars Rogue Squadron needing the expansion pack too, because that's one I'm actually going to pick up. So the guy that I know has the expansion pack has Rogue Squadron in the box, like with the original box. That's what blows my mind. Faded Blaze thinks that, or states that he thinks it's a collaboration with From Software and Bandai Namco with Elden Ring Night Rain. What's up, Pyro? Thank you for joining the chat, good sir. God, Bandai Namco. That's actually one name. I play their games, but I won't stream or show their footage on my channel because I had the misfortune of showing. Oh my God. It's got jets in it. Jacob, Mickey, help me out here.
What?
Jets.
It's got jets in it. Oh my god.
What game?
A Bandai Namco game.
Jets
With
in it.
jets?
Armored Core? I don't know.
Ace.
I have no idea, bum.
Oh, Ace Combat?
Is it Ace Combat? Yeah, Ace Combat 7. There it is. I used Ace Combat 7 footage on my channel, and that was the first time I ever got a message about how, like, hey, you don't exactly have a strike, but someone noticed you used their game, so they're going to put their advertisements all over your video. And I'm like, okay, cool. For a moment, you almost felt like a made man. You're like, yes, Bandai Namco's going to use me. I'm a made man.
That's like the monster ads in fucking Death Stranding.
Morning from the UK, 4 in the morning specifically. Wow, Pyro is up at 4 in the morning listening to my shrill voice. You guys get to listen to my shrill voice before you go to sleep. Good luck with those nightmares.
Dude, I actually had a nightmare with you in it the other night.
Okay, well, now that we've discovered live on YouTube that Jacob is dreaming about me, and at least it was a nightmare. Which it should be.
Dude, I'll just say it real quick. I came into work, I look at my box. The lock is completely busted out and there's like a big V in it. And I go, what the fuck happened to my box?
So
and you go, you took the keys, dude. I needed my tools. You took the keys. I didn't have them. I needed in there. Yeah.
So for the uninformed, Jacob here is a Snap-on Tools whore. Like, I mean, like he goes running out to the truck like it's a he goes running out to the truck. When that truck pulls up, he's out there and he has a Snap-on toolbox. And if anybody knows about Snap-on, they really know how to charge a fortune for their toolbox. And he's very protective over his box. Like he's freaked out on employees for getting crumbs on his toolbox because some guy, I guess, ate cake on his toolbox or something.
No, in fairness, someone they use his toolbox as a placement for their stuff, and that's a $5,000 toolbox. So
I know he had a nightmare. Like I drilled it out. Like it's like, okay, Jake,
I was like, dude, oh my god, it was like one of those dreams where you wake up and you don't know if it was real or not.
So Jake, I'm gonna tell you right now, bud. If I wanted to get in your box, I would just go all balls to the wall, and I would just strike up the plasma cutter that I have in my office.
Oh, no, straight through the top.
And I would just carve the top off.
Dude, I would peel your car's fucking roof back like a can of sardines.
The sad part is the car I drive to work is probably got less resale value than that fucking toolbox.
I don't know, man. They're probably the same value.
All right, so Pyro, one Bandai Namco series of games I desperately want to come out is Digimon World Classic JRP Collection on all platforms. I don't know, Digimon. Well, dude, you see how popular Pokemon is. I mean, like, there's definitely a lot. Like, for me right now, the one I just got done playing was Sandland. I mean, I like some of the games they do. It just sucks that they're just very, very, let's just say they use some aggressive software in making sure that they know where their games appear.
That one I think I will check out, that Sandland game. I want to take a look and see what that one's about.
Sandland was like a very interesting game. Very, like, I want to say it had I like how everybody gets so offensive in gaming when it comes to like certain aspects of gaming, but a game like Sandland can completely toss a major world religion on its head. And I enjoyed the game. I thought it was great. And I thought the direction they went with stuff. But the fact that, we're using Satan and Beelzebub and other aspects of a major religion here in the world, and like they definitely put a very different spin on it. And I know there's some people out there that would probably be like, I can't believe they did that. I haven't really heard much about people getting up in arms over Sandland. Definitely a really fun game. If you guys want to get an idea of it, watch the show on Hulu. And I want to say the game is actually more in depth than the show. I feel like the show is just like really wham bam, here you go, this is what you get. But the game would get into a lot more detail and of what was going on and explanation. I thought it was really, really good. But getting back into it, Mickey, have you saw anything pop up? We had Jacob yell out Turok. What do you want? What do you want? Oh, Mickey's like, oh, I got some.
Borderlands 4, bitches.
Okay, there's a good one. Yeah, Borderlands 4 finally had a reveal trailer. It was more than, because the only other time we've heard about Borderlands 4 is when the Borderlands movie was in theaters. People were completely bad-mouthing it and upset with the Borderlands movie. And so the developer or the game director for Borderlands 4 decided to come out and was like, hey, guess what? Sucks about the movie, but we're making Borderlands 4. There was one in here too. Where is it? Oh my God, too many. So the It Takes Two developer showed their new co-op game Split Fiction coming out in March. And the cool part is that and he's doing the same thing that he did with No Way Out and also It Takes Two, is you only need one copy of the game. So if I buy the game and Mickey doesn't have it, I could actually essentially get Mickey to join my game, and he'll be able to play the game. He wouldn't be able to play the game without me, but he would be able to play the game with me, because apparently, I guess you get to share your license when you're like in co-op.
And which game is that?
Split Fiction. So it's a tale of these two chicks protagonists that you got to play the game in tandem with each other. You got to play the game at the same time, just like in A Way Out and It Takes Two. There's just certain puzzles in the game where it really does take two people to play. And so it's definitely a game that's designed around either couch co-op or online co-op. And this particular story, the two protagonists essentially get invited by some company to go into some kind of VR simulation of the worlds that they write. But it turns out that this company is going to has a habit of stealing their ideas and disposing of them and making it sound like it. Basically, the company steals these people's ideas by putting them in VR simulations of their ideas and allowing their ideas to essentially kill them. And this company would then be like, oh, hey, these are it would be like video game creators bringing people over to the development studio and having them like they steal the game idea from Dave, and then they off Dave, and the development studio basically takes all the credit for making the game. And apparently, like, what makes this really interesting is one of the protagonists likes to write fantasy novels and the other one likes to write sci-fi novels. So you're constantly going back and forth between these simulations or blended worlds of fantasy and sci-fi. Like, you see, like, throughout the game how you discover a baby dragon, it grows into an adolescent dragon, and by the time, and then throughout, like, longer in the game, it's a full-grown dragon, and you're riding it through the game. But then there's also other moments where in the sci-fi world that the chick created, I thought it was funny as hell when the robotic cop comes out and says, you have unpaid parking tickets, prepare to die. And it's like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. Bring a whole new definition to downtown Phoenix with all their parking meters.
Yeah, or just Phoenix PD in general.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, I swear they're lethal, bro.
That's a whole nother story. I know. I try not to. I try to I just say it's a difficult job, but I will at least attest that yes, out here I have had a city of Phoenix police officer look me in the eyes. Look at the guy that basically just vandalized my wife's car, who's high on drugs, riding a propane tank like he's Steve Buscemi in the movie Armageddon, riding the nuclear warhead, just screaming his head off. The cop then looks me back in the eyes and is like, he literally looks at me and says, "Please don't make me do my job." And I just shook my head. I'm like, yeah, my taxpayer dollars at work. That's freaking great. Apparently, he didn't want to wrestle with dude. What do you got?
Back to the games.
I know, right? Oh, I get what you're saying. I'm not going down that road. We're not going to get in there. No. Let's see. You guys notice anything else? I mean, we could sit there and just talk all day long about what was like, is anybody like excited about I'm going to say right now. A lot of people are excited about like the Onimushu game you mentioned. Didn't they do like there's another Ninja Gaiden? We've got what's his name? An Okami sequel is finally it works at Capcom under the original director Hideki Kamiya. Is anybody excited for some of this more like I'm going to be honest, I didn't really get into that era of gaming or that style of gaming. Did any like Jacob, you? No?
Nope. I don't like the Japanese anime games, dude. All that.
I'll definitely give it a try.
Okay. Here's one statement, at least article. 100 years after Super Earth saw them off the first time, Helldivers 2 brings back the Illuminate faction with its new Omens of Tyranny update live now.
That was cool. I played that.
What was it?
They just added a new faction on the map. You usually only have Terminids and automatons. Now you have Illuminates, which are like they're supposed to be like just like really powerful aliens that I don't know, they're kind of like automatons though too. I think they take the Helldivers' dead bodies and make them into like a zombie like kind of race and stuff like that, and they're just supposed to be like really powerful.
Okay.
And they added cities into the game and stuff, and instead of like just fighting on like an empty planet, now you're fighting in like not like a city, but it's kind of like a town,
more like an urban
town.
environment.
Yeah, urban, and it's pretty cool. I don't know. There's like they got tripods and stuff, so
okay,
they're pretty cool.
We now have a new PvPVE game coming out called Thick as Thieves. I don't know if Mickey, you even saw this one, or even Jacob. Apparently it's almost like it's almost like a hero multiplayer, but instead of heroes, they're thieves. They all each have their own individual abilities. And essentially the way the match looked, at least the way it was advertised, is that in a match, you're going to have a number of players that are all given the assignment to steal a certain object from a certain point in the game. And everybody has to battle each other, like with your abilities to stop someone from either getting the object, or if they have the object, using your abilities to steal the object from them. But all meanwhile, there is guards and other mechanics going on in the map to also stop you from that's where the PvE aspect of it comes into. It looks like a very interesting take. It almost looks like Dishonored multiplayer, like Dishonored meets Payday. I don't know. Does that make sense? I might be crazy.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like the finals and Hunt Showdown, kind of like, I don't know. I think those are both PC games. I'm not sure, but that's like the vibe I got off of it.
Faded Blaze says, Centurion, the same situation with you happened to a friend of mine streaming Dragon Quest 2 from Square Enix. So yeah, it's really easy. Apparently there's companies that just monitor like where someone's product ends up, like when it comes to like games and stuff like that. And yeah, it's it's very easy for these companies to know where their stuff ends up. And when like companies like Square Enix and Bandai Namco, they won't like DCMA, they won't strike you to the point where they want your content removed, but they might take it away to where you can't monetize the content, and they will full on monetize their entire. I probably did with some of the contrast in the background. So basically that way that you can't monetize, and they're going to monetize your video, and they're going to advertise their products on your video. Just because.
Sick.
I know, right?
Fucking
It's
free
great.
advertisement. It's stupid.
It's like
I think I heard about this. It's like a big thing like a year or two ago, right?
right. And that's the politics you play on YouTube. And you know what? It's like one of those things where you pick up on it and it's like, well, okay, you know what sucks? That means the only time I will ever talk about playing games like Ace Combat or Sandlands or Code Vein or Scarlet Nexus is where I'm going to be like, hey guys, I'll tell you about these games in podcast form, but I will not at any time show their gameplay on my channel because I don't want to. I'm allowed to talk about it all I want, but I show the gameplay. It's a different story. It's like, so rather than me being able to advertise their product for them and talk about their product and maybe make a little monetization off of, you know, you guys watching whatever YouTube wants to show you. It's like, they're like, no, we want to show our stuff and we own it. And they're like, okay, well then you're just going to make it to where I don't want to use your content. I'll just use something else. So.
Yeah.
Pyro says Sandland is an Akira Toriyama property after. I'm gonna see. I really need to get into the whole like Japanimation thing, but I will say it. I don't know nothing too much. I just started getting into it. Sandland kind of dragged me into it, and I bought a Dragon Ball Z game to get. I bought Dragon Ball Z Kakarot to just be like, I'm gonna try this one next. Let's see. Mr. Glass says they're taking all the crass comedy out of Borderlands 4. Ooh.
I feel like that is very possible.
So we're going to go from like a rated R to like what, a PG-13?
Probably, yeah.
That's
I don't know. I
sweet.
think I watched I don't know who it was. I think it was like Rags or someone, or I don't know. They were talking about how like when you have a game like Borderlands, it's fucking difficult. Like the bigger it gets, the harder it is to like have a joke in it because the more money involved, like you have to get more investors like to be like, okay, yeah, that joke's fine, like shit like that. So it's like the more money.
As the more I get it, the more popular the product becomes, the more you have to market to a bigger demographic. And it's like
less offensive and shit like that.
And it's kind of like what a lot of the gaming industry is experiencing right now as a whole. Me and Jacob talk about this all the time while Mickey stands in the background. Like, will you two shut the hell up? But it's like, to put it into perspective, it's like what happened in gaming in the Xbox OG era and the Xbox 360 era, where they knew they had to create a market. So they went into that market extremely aggressive, and they did that by obviously practices now that seem to be not as prevalent when it came to exclusivity and money hatting a lot, and also being risque in the delivery of a lot of games. Like, we'll just use Dead Rising as an example, where I love living next to a busy road. Where the characters in Dead Rising in the original game were a little bit more risque and revealing than they are now, that Capcom has changed some of the character models. And I think this kind of like accounts to like what wrestling went through in the 90s, because me and Mickey talk about this. During the WWF era with WCW and the Monday Night Wars, those two shows got very aggressive in trying to compete. They knew their target demographic was a male person of 18 to 36 years of age, and so it was very risque. We all what would you say was like what Sable? Did I get her name right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all remember Sable, Jerry the King Lawler with the puppies jokes and all that stuff. And
Sunny and all of them.
yes, and it's like they did that to grow their market share. But then after they won the Monday Night Wars and they realized that they needed to get, they needed to expand their target audience, that's when they went back to family-friendly programming. And when you go back to family-friendly programming, that means you're changing your marketed target audience. And that's where I just feel that, we've seen the same thing with gaming and other stuff that, like Jacob just pointed out. And so, yeah, like Jacob said, as Borderlands 4 gets bigger, they need to expand the reach of the game. And by doing that, that means they need more money from investors, and investors want to see that target audience expanded. And that means you got to kind of like stop catering to a certain audience and making a product that caters to more people, which is up for its own debate. But also that's one of the biggest problems too, is like, I do stand by what the game director for Baldur's Gate 3 came out and said, by saying that that a game developer should be free to make the game they want. And this comes out of a game director who made a game where you can make love to a bear. Am I right, Jacob?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Great.
it's great. Oh my God. Jacob's like, I did it. That's what I aimed for. As soon as that was done, it was like game beat. Yep.
No,
I didn't roll the
haven't
credit.
even actually made it to that part because my friends fucking. Oh, dude, it's hard to fucking get everyone to play at the same time. I'm still waiting. But yeah, I'll do it
You
eventually.
can always get an
I can talk
Xbox and
to
play
animals.
with us. Hint, hint. Anyways.
Is it crossplay or no? Crossplay?
I said you could get an Xbox. I don't know if it's crossplay.
If it's crossplay, I got it downloaded. But yeah, you can fuck a bear in it.
But
Great.
I want to see game developers be able to make the game they want without like investors giving them a huge list of ransom demands. But I also can accept the fact that, when you're walking around with your hand out needing money and somebody's like, I'll give you money, but here's the rules. Like, what do you do? So, Faded Blaze, the only reason there is a Borderlands 4 because Embracer Group sold Gearbox back to Take-Two, and Take-Two decision to pump it out after the movie was trash. I also heard rumors of Sony potentially selling back the Spider-Man franchise after Kraven failed. I don't know about that. That'd be, dude, if they sold back the Spider-Man franchise, there'd be like terror in the streets. People would be rioting in like the social media world. I'd grab a bowl of popcorn and watch that one. How about you? I know. What do you mean we don't own Spider-Man anymore?
I'd be excited. I'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, let's make a game.
I named all my kids Peter Parker. Let's see. Akira, Faded Blaze also says Akira Toriyama is also part of the Dragon Quest games, Chrono Trigger and Blue Dragon, also creator of the Dragon Ball series. Damn. Okay, so that's why, because there's a game you guys need to check out is Blue Dragon. That was a Microsoft endorsed, paid for through, I believe, somehow through Microsoft Studios, JRPG called Blue Dragon. The game back in the day when it was on disc was on 3 discs.
Wow. So it was like 10 gigabytes.
It was a big game. Now you can go buy that game digitally and have it on your Xbox in its entirety. But yeah, I remember when I had the physical version of that game, it was 3 discs. All stacked on top of each other.
What? Oh, man. What games were... I think Gears of War was one of those games. where you had multiple discs.
We'll take 10 more minutes of discussing the games we're excited for, and then we'll really dive into the
Does
meat and
anyone fuck with
potatoes.
The Witcher, dude? You guys see The Witcher?
That's what we were
4?
getting. The Witcher. Thank you for reminding me, because we've got two big ones right now. The Witcher.
boy.
Mickey, what do you think about that? Like, so
I'm down for it, and having Ciri as the protagonist, I'm cool with that. She was an important part of Witcher 3, so I
and
totally see that.
and that's where, Jacob, go ahead and say your 2 cents. It sounds like you are excited for it, right?
Yeah, I'm fucking hyped.
Okay. So, at least if I could say here, I'm pretty sure maybe you guys were able to, like, we have a logical podcast with sensible decision making. If you couldn't determine that they were going to make Ciri a main player in the game eventually, you are denying stuff to yourself, because Ciri was an important part of The Witcher 3, and you could plainly see that Geralt was training Ciri to be a Witcher, and now it's like we're seeing that torch passed where Ciri is going to be the main protagonist of The Witcher 4. That being said, though, at the end of the trailer, we hear Geralt's voice. But I mean, it's still a gritty game, gory, heads cutting off, people getting stabbed from that whole CG trailer. It definitely has me hyped, but it definitely also makes me go a little bit like, what the hell is going on? Guys, feel me out on this. Growing up, we've seen female game characters in games for years. We've gotten Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, Joanna Dark out of Perfect Dark. You guys,
Who's that one
girl
game with
that's
the
in
telekinetic powers?
huh?
The girl with the telekinesis. That game. I think it's a PlayStation exclusive. I don't know.
You mean Infamous?
No. It's like fucking one of the exclusive bullshits. Let me look it up.
How about you, Mickey? You want to throw in a name, hat in the ring?
Yeah, the one with and it's not like a super old game, but the one with the mental health one.
Okay, so we've got Hellblade,
Or
Senua,
Hellblade, yeah, that's
his
it.
Senua.
That's it.
We've also got the chick from the game Control. I thought Control was a good one.
Control, that's what I'm talking about.
Control was not a PlayStation exclusive. I have it on.
Oh, wasn't it?
Xbox.
Okay.
No, yeah. That's why I was like, what?
Beyond Two Souls, that's that used to be PlayStation exclusive.
But let's go. I'm trying to think of like 360 and before. Like, wasn't there something like, I know, like I know we could nitpick it, but the two most prevalent ones that we could think of from back in the day was definitely Joanna Dark from Perfect Dark, Tomb Raider, obviously Lara Croft. Those are our big ones. Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, that was a female protagonist.
Also Resident Evil 2 with Claire Redfield. There was also one of the female protagonists. There was also a female protagonist in the original Resident Evil. There was a female protagonist in Dino Crisis.
There's female protagonists on fucking Game Boy Color, bro.
I know. The reason why I bring that up is because apparently now people are throwing The Witcher 4 into that category of games where, you know, it's like, oh, you're forcing your ideals on me and all this inclusiveness. And it's like, if you couldn't tell that's where the plot was going, that's pretty crazy. But apparently all of a sudden, if you use a female character as your lead in a video game, all of a sudden it's a political statement. Like automatically, hands down, it's a political statement. No questions asked. And I'm just kind of like in my head, like, man, I feel like we've had strong female leads in gaming for a long time now. This isn't something new. And like it is getting kind of like old that, it's like almost like the boy who cries wolf. I'm getting tired of hearing someone scream wolf. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. All
But
the fucking whiny, bitchy people.
it's almost starting to feel like the moment an actual wolf situation shows up where it is an actual situation of inclusion, the whole world's already fucking numb to the argument. They're like, all right, whatever. So I just, because like that.
I mean, is that a thing? Like, I haven't heard anything about that. But
No,
what,
no,
like,
there's some people
like
that are mad about it.
That's retarded. Sorry. You play as her in the third one. Like, what is?
I know.
What the fuck?
I know.
That's true. That's a good point.
And exactly, and that's where I'm just like, well, maybe it's like what we went through with Halo 4, where you had Master Chief and Locke. Both were still male leads, but people just did not want to play Locke. They wanted it all to be Master Chief. So is this a situation of we only want it to be Geralt or whatever, or is
Geralt? Something like that.
Gerald? No, I'm playing.
Gerald, yeah.
His name's Gerald.
With a T.
Gerald. Or is this like, that's what I'm saying. Is it the fact she's a female, or is it the fact that it's not Gerald?
Probably both. I don't know. I like Siri.
I think people just, there's some people that just don't want to play a female character because they feel that it burns into their testosterone or something and makes them feel like less of a man. It's just stupid.
I don't know. I got friends that only play females in games. So
I was gonna say, Mickey.
There's a toss up.
On Mickey, we play Elder Scrolls Online, and we know for a fact that the person that is the female character that's running around in nothing but a bra and underwear, like,
are doing what?
Shaking their ass on top of a bush because they're
doing
using
what?
the emo. They're probably, and you read their names, and you're like, you're a dude. I know
what
you're a dude from your name.
They're getting stuff from
people
who play male characters.
Dude,
that's what they do.
I used to do that shit in RuneScape.
Oh my god.
That's shit they do. They do that shit.
Dude, it works too, is the worst part. It works
too.
Dude, it works. I tried to do it again like a couple of years ago and it still worked. Dude, I got like 100k gold in like 10 minutes just from some random dude. He's like, I like that you're not trying to ask for gold. Here's 100k. I was like, dude, this guy, what the fuck, bro?
So are we really sugar daddying in an MMO?
Dude, what the hell? Bro.
Yeah. Well, World of Warcraft too. They did that shit all the time. Absolutely.
Here, go buy yourself.
Sugar daddying is definitely a thing.
Go buy yourself a nice mount, sweetie.
Yeah, the craziest part is they won't even add you or nothing. They'll just walk away. Like okay.
It's like throwing a folded 20 on the stage. Instead, it's just some gold coin in a game that has no bearing or weight.
It's like it's so overinflated because like they have like Chinese bot farms and like RuneScape.
Oh yeah, in World of Warcraft they've got that shit too.
Oh yeah. I think in World of Warcraft it's like Brazilian players, right, or something like that.
No, a lot of it's still Chinese, but they make freaking bank.
Oh yeah, I mean not in our sense of money, but like over in their own country, it's probably fucking crazy. They're like, I make $6 an hour farming gold.
No, they sell that stuff and they actually do make a lot of money.
Yeah, that's crazy. PoE also has that. Kind of harder, but
okay. Well, we had someone in the chat throw in a good argument. Dark Child CD. What about Samus? And I had to look that one up. Samus Aran, intergalactic bounty hunter and main protagonist of the Metroid series.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Dude, there's a bunch.
That was a good call, Dark Child. That was a good call. Like,
I forgot about that one.
Checking. I was trying to be like Nintendo. Yeah, check and mate on the Nintendo one right there. And we got Faded Blaze. I don't mind playing female characters if there's an actual plot and a character development. That's what,
True.
as long as there's plot and character development, like I'm always
Yeah,
down
but
for a
that would
game
be
on
the
that.
same. That would be the same for male characters.
Same here, yeah, but no, to me it's just like I said, me and Mickey, like we were just talking right now in an MMO, you'll see people play a female character just to hustle free gold or whatever. Apparently, like Jacob's like, I'm guilty, so
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's just so easy. You just name yourself some stupid dude like fucking I don't even know, like Ashley CX or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of my that wasn't one of my old names, but it was something like that where it was like fucking Ashley XD or something like that.
See, Faded Blaze says the only problem he has is, as an example, the Suicide Squad Batman situation with Harley Quinn. I feel like Harley Quinn was most of the story in that game.
I don't know anything about that.
Like,
Well,
I feel like Harley Quinn. I
She's
feel
part
like
of the Suicide Squad,
right, but I
and
feel
she's
like
one of the most important DC characters too.
I feel like Harley Quinn had most of the character development in Suicide Squad. Outs and okay, she had them out. So as the female character, she had a fair decent amount of character development. Especially considering they tried to add some add some like weight with Wonder Woman and battling Superman and Batman and all the other, like, apparently the what was it called?
I mean, it would have been cool to extend that shit
The
too,
Justice
because
League,
you know
the
that would have
Justice League.
helped.
But I
Yeah.
feel like the other person that went through a lot of character development was Deadshot. Shark barely had anything. He was more like the shit talker in the background. And then Boomerang like took all the shit talk. Like anytime they wanted to make a joke on somebody and cut someone down at the knees, Boomerang was the butt end of almost every joke.
Boomerang was hilarious.
Oh, Instagram is listening. I just got a fucking Witcher 4 has gone woke video.
I told you.
So stupid.
This one is about how she's ugly.
Oh God, we're going down that one.
That's what the people in the comments are mad about on this one.
Look, I
I don't know.
can't make out to my pillow at night thinking about her. So
She drinks poison and shit, dude. I don't know. What do you fucking expect, man?
I know she went into a cave and totally hacked some monster's head off like a freaking G.
Yeah, dude. She drinks that cat site shit, dude. Like, I don't know. Fucking use your imagination.
Use your imagination.
Like, what are the fucking what is the outcome of drinking poison? Probably not that you look fucking youthful, I would imagine.
Oh my gosh.
That stuff is so ridiculous. The whole freaking
Well,
so stupid.
the final game, I don't know. So me and Jacob touched on this one, Mickey, and I really don't think it's an inclusion issue. I think it's just a freaking Neil Druckmann issue because I have never been a big fan of Neil Druckmann's writing. And that's where I'm saying, like, I can handle whatever people want to do in their games, whatever message they want to get across, but when I would definitely say I don't like the message, I will definitely attribute that to like the game director, and Neil Druckmann has taken full credit for the Last of Us series, both 1 and 2. And now we have where's it at here? I have it right here. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, the brand new Naughty Dog game that apparently PlayStation has had Naughty Dog working on for the past few years. So that means that this game is probably right around the corner being released next year or the year after that. It's not going to be like some of these games where they're like years out. Generally, Sony has a habit of like not telling you about something until they're ready, and I think they're ready. And so a lot of people are very angry that the main protagonist of the game is definitely like fitting a political agenda. And that's where like I would have to at least say normally I am down for with saying that, you could do whatever you want in a game, but I could definitely say from what I have read and seen about Neil Druckmann is he's the kind of person that would deliberately do something in a game just to tick a box. Does that make sense? Am I wrong in thinking that?
No.
See, I know Jacob doesn't like Neil Druckmann either, but you have your
I
reasons
don't know.
too.
I don't know who it is. So
He made Last of Us, is what he says, but yeah.
Like,
isn't Last of Us like a really super popular game though?
I feel like the first one
The
was,
first
and the second
one was,
one
the
was not as much.
yeah, the second one has a
To
lot of
put it
controversy
lightly.
about it. There is some stuff that like Neil Druckmann almost tried to do the developers dirty on The Last of Us 2 because it was during the pandemic and they were worried people wouldn't have a lot of money, so they were trying to hold the game from being released. And a lot of these developers, their bonuses for the game were tied to the release of the game. And some of them were like, we needed that money to like buy our kids Christmas presents and blah, blah, blah. So one of the developers actually leaked the entire game on the internet and basically forced Sony's hands to release the game because the entire game got leaked onto the internet. And the rumor is, or the myth is, that the game was leaked on the internet by an employee from Naughty Dog. So, Remake Station 5, you don't like bald chicks? Sipping that say, oh my gosh,
I'm
she's
not
Abby
Joe
2.0.
Rogan. No.
Huh?
I'm not Joe Rogan. No.
I'm not Joe Rogan. She's Abby 2.0. That's what Sanchez says. So,
Oh, Abby from Last of Us. Yeah.
Sanchez is calling it. He says Intergalactic is getting a lot of hate, so it'll probably flop like Concord. Ooh.
It'll probably sell better than Concord, to be honest.
Maybe, but so
well, anything will, because all you got to do is give it more than fucking 2 weeks. Shit.
Dude, I just can't believe Dragon's Dogma didn't get anything, dude. It wasn't even on the fucking board. I love that game, dude. I thought it was so good.
Before I say this, I want to just check my
Oh, the only thing I wanted to add to that is when she's shaving her head, she has the clippers upside down. That fucking threw me for a loop, dude. I was like, okay, what is going on here?
So I will definitely say there's some stuff that circles around Neil Druckmann making very questionable decisions as like how he treats his employees and stuff like that, which is where I've always been like Remake Station 5 says, yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 was awesome. I enjoyed Dragon's Dogma 2.
So
Mickey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fun.
So good.
Did you ever play it, Jacob?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so that's at least we're on that one. So I guess let's start talking about it because it's at that hour. Let's dig in, guys. Let's have some fun with the meat and potatoes. We've talked about the games. We're excited for some stuff. I will definitely say I feel like years past there's been some heavy hitters at the Game Awards, but I'm not going to walk away from the Game Awards saying that there's nothing to play. But I will say that one thing did go through my head is it does look like I'm probably going to be able to maybe knock out a little bit of my my backlog because I don't see too much capturing my wallet so far this year. But we're going to get into it. So let's first start with some of the things that we saw at the Game Awards, starting with The Outer Worlds 2. Mickey, Jacob, did any of you play The Outer Worlds, the original, by chance?
Yep. Yes,
Yeah,
I did.
What did you guys think of it?
I like it. I liked it personally. I thought it was cool.
I liked it. I just felt like it was kind of rushed or something. I don't know. Like, playing it, I was like, "There's something missing." I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just like too short or something. But I liked it. Otherwise, it was good. It's funny and shit. So
I will actually say I can actually maybe agree with you on the short thing, because I was actually shocked when the game ended when it did. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that was the end? Because I was playing the crap out of the game. I was having a lot of fun. And that's when it was like, whoa, wait a minute, that was the end?
yeah.
But I will definitely say that I went and I own the corporate approved edition of the game. I did not buy the upgraded version of the game that's XS enhanced. I only have the corporate approved version, which came with all the DLC. And I went in and replayed the game, played the DLC, and I feel like that was more of a complete package when it comes to what was put out there from Obsidian when it comes to the Outer Worlds. But now, let's just say the elephant in the room. Did any of you catch what was shown at the trailer?
No.
No, what do you mean?
So at the end of the trailer for the Outer Worlds 2, it was revealed that this game is going to be coming to Xbox, PC, and PlayStation, which has some people feeling like, you know, Xbox is completely done. Like, we have some guys trying to say Xbox is going full third party, blah, blah, blah. I still stand by what at least some of the logical guys that I listen to, that it is still a case-by-case basis. And so far, we've only seen a very small handful of games go to PlayStation, and the vast majority of them were games that were like their previous iteration of the game was already on PlayStation. Like Elder Scrolls Online was on PlayStation, so if they do an Elder Scrolls Online 2, that'll be on PlayStation. We also saw the Outer Worlds 1 was on PlayStation. It's going to be, part 2 is going to be on PlayStation. So there's a lot of people that are trying to act like Xbox is the only one that's perpetrating this, when PlayStation themselves has put games on Xbox, like MLB The Show. That's even in Game Pass to begin with. But that's where a large majority of the gaming media is trying to spin this narrative, stating that Microsoft is shifting its focus from traditional console gaming to a broader device agnostic approach with its Xbox brand. The company aims to redefine what it means to be an Xbox fan by enabling gaming on all devices, including TVs, phones, and PCs. While this strategy seeks to expand the Xbox ecosystem, it raises concerns among longtime fans about how it will affect their experience. Well, I always like to say, as long as I have access to my library and I can play it where I want to play it, I don't give a shit where you put those games. I remember does everybody remember back in the day, like the 90s? Sorry, Jacob was born in the year 2000, but I'm hoping, Jacob, when you were younger, you probably in the same. Remember when you would go to your friend's house and they had a console you didn't have access to, and you wanted to play that game on your console, but because of the exclusivity bullshit, you couldn't do that. I remember in the 90s, we would all sit around the cafeteria lunchroom table going, God, this exclusivity thing is stupid. Why can't you play the game I play? And we were actually just like, we felt like it was unfair that our friend or someone else couldn't play the game that we were enjoying. But now it's 2024 and we get our rocks off going like, ha, Steve can't play my favorite game. Sucks to be him. Like, I mean, like, I don't get it. Like, it's
I don't fuck with exclusives.
Well, like, and that's where, so this is where redefining the Xbox brand. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, Mickey, just in case you know that, or Jacob, Phil Spencer is the president and CEO of the Xbox brand, or he's basically the dude in charge of Xbox. But he is not.
You've already told me about who that guy is.
He is not the end all be all of the company. Satya Nadella is essentially the Bill Gates of Microsoft now. This dude runs the show. So Satya Nadella emphasized that the company is focusing on expanding the reach of Xbox gaming to all devices, not just consoles. This is part of a broader strategy to drive growth within the gaming sector with an emphasis on bringing gaming joy to a wider audience. And the funny part is people are trying to act like this is like some rabbit he's pulled out of the hat just recently, when we all know that this has been something that Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, anybody else that we've all been listening to in Xbox for a while now, you know that they have been wanting to do a multi-platform approach to gaming for a while, since they went down the road of putting their games day and date on PC along with Xbox. So, Now this is where we're getting this is a reach. Like the article said, Xbox is pivoting from a hardware-centric model to a more cloud and device-based strategy. I want to say device, but cloud is not near where the cloud technology is not where it should be. I don't see them like all of a sudden like coming out and being like, well, consoles are done. And by the way, I've always been in the mindset to keep cloud technology moving forward. They got to develop hardware for the server farms for the cloud technology. And the server farm, the Azure server farm, is using at least Xbox One X technology and now the Xbox Series X technology in the server blades. So the development of the Xbox One X, the Xbox Series S, and the Xbox Series X has furthered the advancement of cloud tech in the Azure server areas. So I just feel like that the cloud tech and hardware tech go hand in hand. And if they stop developing hardware, cloud tech is going to stagnate. Is that like, am I crazy for thinking that, Jacob, Mickey?
No, I think it's like, I don't know. They're like, you got to sink money into it for it to get good eventually.
Exactly. So, and by the way, for consoles to disappear, the market needs to tell these companies that that consoles are done for. Like, I think it's interesting. Like right now, I have an article that that's talking about how LG has come out and said they are going to stop production of Blu-ray players, which I think is stupid because even then, right now, there is a resurgence of physical media. We're at, like, the other day in Marshall's, I saw a cassette player for sale. Physical media is making a comeback. Records, cassettes, CDs, physical movies. The other day, standing in GameStop, yes, I still walk into those things. I heard a guy telling his girlfriend that he actually wants to start getting more into buying physical games because apparently something happened to an account of his and he lost digital games and now he wants to own them physically. And so I think it's interesting that we're starting to see a resurgence of physical media. LG has decided to make the asinine decision to stop making Blu-ray players, but they did leave out the caveat that if the market tells them or dictates to them that they should start making Blu-ray players again, they will. But right now, that means the only players in the game, in the movie space that are still making Blu-ray players are Panasonic and Sony. But Sony has not updated their Blu-ray player design since 2018. And because of this situation now, like it's like they're basically, guys, what I'm telling you is if you want to get into physical movies, you might want to buy your Blu-ray player now because it's going to make getting a hold of an actual physical playing Blu-ray player more difficult because now LG is no longer in the market. So that's where,
and get a Panasonic.
Dude, I have a Panasonic.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
So they go on in this article about the Play Anywhere version. Microsoft's goal is to allow games bought on Xbox to be accessible on various platforms, including TVs, PCs, and mobile devices. The company is working on something called Project Rainway, a unified UI across platforms to make cross-play devices seamless, including syncing friends list messages, game progress, and more. now they bring up the risks and concerns, because like they brought, like the one thing this article brought up was like they're like, well, Xbox, we're worried that they're not going to really come through with this idea, because look at their app store that they wanted on, like they wanted to make an app store to compete with the Google Play Store and the Apple Store, and now all of a sudden they're indefinitely delaying it because of the court battle between Google and federal regulators. And that's where I'm just like, well, that's just smart sense. Why would you continue making a platform for an environment where you don't even know what the rules are going to be yet, because Google regulators are still trying to hack shit out with Apple and Google on how these new entries to the market for app stores are going to be able to compete. And so I'm pretty sure Xbox is just waiting for the new list of rules to come out before they continue allocating resources and funds into the development of an app store that they don't even know will be totally, like, could you imagine building an app store and then all of a sudden there's some like federal regulators that come in and be like, hey, there's new rules, you got to change it? That'd be kind of a pain in the ass. But that, like, I like how the article is making it sound like, this is Xbox's fault. So like, again, how do we feel here about Xbox making it easier to play these games, and that maybe they're not going down the deep, tried and true road of, console exclusives or ecosystem exclusives? They're trying to make an ecosystem that's one of a kind by being totally innovative, and with innovation comes risk. And without risk, there is no reward. So I could see where Xbox is making some risky moves and trying to be innovative, but I really do think that maybe Microsoft is going to be rewarded with the fact that they're going to be a little bit ahead of the curve, where other players in the ecosystems are like, Sony, they're just now getting around to putting their games on PC in any relatively, decent amount of time. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, they have the Xbox app already, right? So it's like,
I don't understand why there'd be any complaints about it anyway.
Well, I know, because like it's like, oh,
well, I mean, technically, it doesn't concern us.
Well, it doesn't concern us, but here's a good thought, Mickey, Jacob. Oh my God, the Outer Worlds 2 is gonna be on PlayStation. Oh shit. I'm going to play mine for $15 and they get to play it for 70. How come they get to play it at all? They're willing to pay $70 for it.
I don't know. You could fucking, dude. I don't know. I don't understand exclusives. I don't see how keeping something on one console will make you more money, I guess. Like, I've never bought, when I was buying consoles, I didn't buy a console just because it had games on it. I just bought it like because of whatever my friends were buying. Like, I was all on Xbox 360. All my friends got a PS4. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to PS4, I guess. And then I got on PS4.
I just wanted to play it. Shit.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck about exclusives. Like, if you have the, like they do Spider-Man, that's cool, I guess. Like, at least on PC, I don't think you don't have Spider-Man on Xbox, right?
No. Well, not anymore. Back in the Xbox 360 era, they did, and there was actually one Xbox One game that popped up that was Spider-Man, but no, like
not
Sony's
been. Spider-Man is not. No, the current Spider-Man is not on Xbox.
Like, at least what they do on Steam, they'll release it like after a year on release or some shit. So they have like a second release on PC. Like, that's like the max, bro. After that, you don't get an exclusive. I feel like.
I know, right?
Like, that's
especially,
how it should be, I think.
Especially with some of the budgets that go into these games now. Like,
yeah, I don't.
You gotta make as much revenue
part
as
of
possible.
The market. Like, I don't know. That's just like kind of brain damage in my head. But unless they fucking have analytics to back up that when they make fucking Spider-Man 2, people are going to buy a PS5 because of it. I'm not.
I don't think Spider-Man 2 moved the needle as hard as the Spider-Man that came before it. Same with God of War versus God of War Ragnarok. It's like God of War and Spider-Man that came out on the PS4 moved that needle way over. And then so they released the game. They did Spider-Man 2 and they did God of War Ragnarok, and it didn't move the needle as hard. And so like I know for a fact this year in 2024, the guy that I talked to over at Fallout Games, the retro game store here in Phoenix, Arizona, he actually is wanting to have a massive sale on PlayStation 4s because he said this was the year that everybody started selling their PlayStation 4s to go to PS5. And so like I will definitely say like we're starting to see that shift now. Like now here it is 2024 and PlayStation has officially gotten consumers to start en masse switch from PS4 to PS5.
And aren't they done with this generation?
I know, and we're already talking about the PS6. So I'm like in my head going, damn, that took a while to convince, and I mean, yeah, it took a while for them to convince people to just switch.
Well, I don't think it was the convincing. I think it was like they don't give a fuck about scalpers and they just sell their console to whoever. It's like PCs with Bitcoin mining,
Graphics
dude.
Cards.
Yeah. Like, yeah, oh yeah, okay, yeah, just buy every fucking graphics card, and then like the Steam survey is like, oh, everyone's still running like 20 series cards in 2024, 2025. How the fuck is that possible? And then it's like, yeah, well, most of the fucking world can't even get a graphics card because they're all being bought up by Bitcoin miners, and it's not even Bitcoin miners now, it's AI fucking shit, so.
Yeah, we went from Bitcoin to AI.
Yeah, like two back-to-back fucking like, oh my god, dude, probably the most GPU intensive shit you could. There wasn't even a downturn, dude. It was like straight, okay, oh man, oh dude, the Bitcoin's kind of stopping now. Oh yeah, and then it was like instantly AI's here. Okay, well, we're fucked.
Well, all right. So, let's see. What else have we got out of the Game Awards? So, has anybody played this game called Balatro?
Balatro? No, I don't know. I didn't even know that was like a popular game, but I see it on Steam all the time. I don't know what it is.
So apparently, Mickey, this game, Balatro,
Dude, that shit took everything.
is like very like I don't want is very indie, and it pulled a couple awards. It pulled a couple awards at the Game Awards, and I mean. When you see the gameplay of it, you're just like, really? Okay, that's cool.
I thought it was just like poker or something, but I have no clue. Same with Metamorph. I never even heard about that, but that's like one of those JRPGs or something like that. It's like an anime game.
Okay.
I feel like if you're a JRPG guy, dude, this year is probably hype for you.
Right?
Like everything was like Japanese devs. I was like, holy shit, dude.
No, that was actually something that even Penguin Zero came out and said was that, this was the year for like Asian developers, for those Eastern developers, and that would kind of lead like what we'll eventually talk about later, but Penguin Zero even said this was a good year for those particular developers.
Oh yeah.
So
amazing.
So here we are. This is something funny, guys, that like we're all familiar with FIFA, right? Okay. Let's have a pop quiz in the chat, guys. When you guys walk into a casino, what is the most prevalent gambling in every casino you walk into?
Slots.
What'd you say?
Slots.
You say slots?
That's what I say, yeah.
Okay. Mickey?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. So before we get into it, Mr. Glass actually, what about the Mafia game real quick, guys? That Mafia game?
Oh, Mafia, yeah. You know what? Dude, that shit looks kind of cool.
I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to that one. I need to get into the Mafia. I've only played Mafia 3, but I want to see that Mafia game. That's going to be an interesting one.
Mafia 3 was okay, but Mafia 2, dude, oh man. so good.
Faded Blaze says Outer Worlds is awesome. He also says
It
people
is,
forget that Sony is using Microsoft Azure servers too. Yeah, I remember that. Remake Station 5. Yeah, it's just business. Maybe 1 or 2 exclusives, but you should be putting it everywhere you can. Console revenue has been flat to dropping. PC is going up each year. PlayStation did sell a lot better with all those exclusives, but you don't make money on consoles sold. They sell them at a loss. 20 series.
Oh, they still do that.
20 series NVIDIA is still very viable. Lots of people still on 1070s and 1080s. Balatro is addictive. It's poker roguelike with Joker power cards. I secretly played a ton of Balatro from work. Oh, I got to remember that. I should probably do that at my job, Mickey. Phil, what are you doing? Nothing? No. So,
yeah,
all right.
20 is valuable. So you got a 2080 and you're tripping about it. So I told you.
And I have a what?
You got a 2080. He said it's very viable. See?
Yes. Okay, guys. I'm going to say it. Jacob came over. I invited Jacob over to my house. I asked him to spread thermal paste on my GPU.
No, CPU. I didn't.
Sorry, CPU, whatever fucking component, CPU. And while he was in there, like, that's when he opens up like this little suitcase of gizmos. And he's like, oh, by the way, I put a bigger power supply in your PC. I upgraded your RTX 20. What was it? RTX? No, wait.
2080. Yeah.
No, it was an RTX 2700X.
Oh wait, what are you talking about? Your CPU?
Yeah. No. Yeah, the CPU.
Oh, just 2700X. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 20. So no, sorry, that's right. You left the 2700X in there, but you upgraded my RTX 580 to a NVIDIA
RX 580 to
an NVIDIA
RTX 2080 or some shit.
See, this is why I get him involved, because he knows more with that. Oh, and then also to me, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I gave you more RAM. And I'm just like, dude, I just asked for you to help me with thermal paste, man. Jesus, thank you for like upgrading my entire rig. I actually owe Jacob a lot because like I was so pissed. My computer like completely shut down playing a game. It overheated. It was like one of the only. I'm gonna try.
Be the case, though.
I'm gonna like. It was like one of those things. Like I don't normally play games on my PC. I'm gonna try it today. Computer breaks. I'm like, and this is why I don't game on PC.
Dude, it's fun. It's like it's good because then when the game break or when your PC breaks, it's like you have a little downtime, and then you get back into the game. It makes you like the games you play more.
So, the reason why we bring up slot machines, guys, is we all know how slot machines work. Put the quarter in or your credit in, you hit the button, and fate takes the rest on whether you get something good or you get something shitty. So,
fate is that's
I know
a toss up if it's fate.
I know, like the random number generator that's inside.
Well, no,
that's
they've had casinos that have set those machines up where they fuck you on purpose to take your money.
And that's the funny part. There's even rules that, like in Las Vegas, all slot machines have to have a high payout once a day. That doesn't mean like you're getting, but they have like a certain percentage of like you got to have like a payout over a certain percentage of that machine per day, but it can happen randomly every 24 hours. And that's where I'm just like, well, that tells me the games are fixed right there. If you're already having to require them to have a payout.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why we bring up slot machines, everybody, is you're going to probably be like, I have a what the F moment right here. The developer of Baltero, an indie game with a poker theme, has criticized the Pan-European Gaming Information, or PEGI, which is their ESRB system, for giving them an 18+ rating due to its use of poker mechanics. The developer humorously suggested that maybe they should add microtransactions like those in EA Sports FC 25 to lower the rating to 3+, drawing attention to what they see as a double standard. While Baltero simply teaches poker rules, EA Sports FC 25 has actual gambling mechanics through loot boxes, but is rated for children as young as 3. The developer expressed frustration that the games with real gambling elements are rated too leniently compared to Baltero, which has no gambling features, microtransactions, or anything of that crap. It just uses the mechanics of poker, but because it has poker mechanics in it, and it also uses playing cards in the way it's done, apparently it needs to be rated for an adult because you're teaching kids gambling. So apparently Microsoft has been doing some really illegal shit with solitaire because they're showing people how to use cards. So
Oh yeah, they're done.
huh?
They're done.
I know, right?
Sony's buying them.
Can what do you think? What do you think of this? That an indie developer that just won more than one award at the Game Awards for their innovative game, a very simple innovative game, just had their game rated for 18 and above over in Europe because it involves using playing cards and poker mechanics when there is no way to actually gamble money. There's no way to buy currency. There's no microtransactions, but you can go over there and get FIFA and other EA games with actual legit loot boxes, which are akin of a slot machine. And those games are rated for 3-year-olds.
Yeah. I mean, sounds about right for EA, I guess. They always fucking find a way, dude.
I thought that was a little that's why I was like, I thought it was a little interesting little tidbit. That's why I was just like, man, that's why I was like the whole thing. Like, that's why the caption says WTF, reality just broke. Like, I'm just like, yeah, that's right. The games with loot boxes, 3-year-olds, games with a deck of cards, 18 and over. Okay.
Yeah,
that's logical to me.
I just can't believe, dude. FIFA makes a lot of fucking money too. It's nuts.
Okay. So, next up we have a little bit of a I want to say this goes down into like, I'm not trying to be a dick in what I'm about to say, but this is just like, this is how I am. We're going down the road of maybe tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. So, at the Game Awards, there was a new award handed out this year. And they created a new award called the Game Changer Award. And they gave this award to an individual called Amir Satvat. Forgive me if I am basically butchering this man's name. So here we are. Amir Satvat, the recipient of the inaugural Game Changers Award at the Game Awards 2024, has faced a wave of hateful, disturbing messages following his acceptance speech. Satvat, known for his work helping laid-off game developers find new employment, was attacked with anti-Semitic remarks, insults about his family, and accusations about his role at Tencent. Despite these attacks, Satvat has clarified his work at Tencent had nothing to do with layoffs and emphasizes his commitment to helping the industry. He shared his frustration with the personal nature of the criticism and vowed to continue his efforts in public service. Now, to understand it, Mickey didn't watch. I don't know if Jacob saw this part of it, but this individual who got this award, he actually has a background in data analytics. That means he's really good at taking data, compiling it, and putting it into like an Excel format, and basically making it easier for people to consume all that data, so that way it just doesn't look like numbers on a spreadsheet. That being said, from his story, it was clarified that he's a big fan in gaming. He's always wanted to be involved in the gaming industry, but because he grew up in a small town, I believe in Ohio, there's no game development studios out there. He would live nowhere near the gaming industry. So he saw this as a way to actually help developers that help provide a very fulfilling hobby for him because he loves video games. So he took all his data analytics skills from working from Amazon, and he currently works at Tencent, and essentially took all his data analytics skills and built a website where game developers can go to find jobs. There has been a precedented over 10,000 layoffs in gaming this year alone, I believe. And so he really felt a certain way about that. And he wanted to help these developers basically get their foot back into the workforce and continue doing what they love, and that is making video games. And according to Mr. Sattvat, he has claimed that he has helped over 3,000 developers find games, which obviously Jeff Keighley wanted to give him an award for. Jeff Keighley touched on it multiple times during the awards show that he really feels that, game developers are being definitely given a very undue treatment. It's more about pushing the needle on making money, keeping investors happy, ticking off, putting check marks in boxes for inclusion and blah, blah, blah. And like when stuff doesn't do well, we instantly see people lose their jobs. Everything from Concord, the developer from Concord with Firewalk Studios, the developer that did Visions of Mana. We have seen a lot of studios get shuttered this year due to games not hitting the mark because of these lofty expectations that some of the publishers and their investors have put onto the developers. And that's where, people really do feel that this is where the tinfoil hat stuff comes in. They really do feel that this individual is almost like a plant from the gaming industry, that he is basically being used as a way for Jeff Keighley and the gaming industry to somehow hide the fact that this is what they're doing to developers. But meanwhile, the Game Awards are the celebratory thing of video games, and all the executives, like they even named Phil Spencer and Matt Booty in this article about being some of the executives in the crowd, and that these executives are the absolute problem with gaming, and that they are basically mistreating their developers, and that Tencent is one of these companies that is really detrimental to the gaming industry, and that they are using an individual that works for Tencent to somehow make it look like, hey guys, we have the developers' backs. But there's a lot of people that think it's bullshit, and that this man is just like some kind of plant that they're using to somehow like create a facade that they're really concerned about developers when they're not. Like, what do you guys think about all this?
I don't deal with all that freaking mess because it's just,
And feel free to touch base on because I know how you really are, Mickey, down deep when we talk, and I know you are somebody that really does not really enjoy the corporate greed bullshit that takes place throughout the world.
Yeah, corporate greed and just all the stupidity. I don't care about that stuff. Everybody's always got opinions and assumptions and shit, and it's just like, okay, if he worked at that place and that place gets a lot of shit, 10 cent or whatever. I mean, you can't direct all that shit at people, all the bad stuff at people that work there, because they might not even be a part of it. So, I mean, if he's doing something good, then so be it. I'm not going to assume anything. I'm just going to assume he's doing what he's doing. So,
but to keep the conversation going, because this is where we're going to segue into our final convo before the night. But we can honestly say though, there is at least a systemic issue that we should all be talking about in gaming, and it has nothing to do with diversity, inclusion, or woke. The big fucking problem in gaming right now is the fact that a lot of investors and publishers have created very lofty expectations, and they have stripped a lot of developers from having freedoms of being able to make a product that they could be proud of. And also, these developers constantly work in fear, knowing that if they do not reach the lofty expectations of the publishers and the investors, that they could lose their job overnight and unceremoniously. Like, we know for a fact some of these developers did not even know they lost their job until they went and checked their Twitter feed.
Oh yeah. Was that who was that? Was it Ubisoft?
That was that's Ubisoft. I even think there's even stuff from like that's happened with PlayStation and Microsoft. Like, it's not
Nice.
just it's not just limited to, like, you know, people that just roll off the tip of our tongue. There is a lot of publishers out there that will shut down a studio at just like a moment's whim. And like, there's like some guys in the industry that were on vacation and they went and checked their Twitter feed and they found out that the studio that they're on vacation from just got closed. So it's like, hey, guess what? After you're done with your vacation, you get to join laid off.
Yeah, go ahead and just stay on that vacation, little bro.
I know. Like,
Yeah, no, I feel like the Baldur's Gate 3 guy said it best, dude. He fucking,
no, and that's where Mickey isn't fully aware with what Baldur's Gate 3 did, which we'll obviously bring into, but like, Mickey, can you honestly, like, you've even talked about like every time Microsoft has a layoff, you know, Mickey, like, we always joke he's like the casual guy, but every time there's actually a layoff, like with Microsoft or other studios, Mickey's actually one of the first guys walking up to me at work and be like, yo, did you hear? They just laid off more guys.
Yeah.
Like, Mickey,
It's disappointing. It's sad. It's, you know, I mean,
see, I
if
feel
it's
like
legitimate, it's cool. But if it comes down to just wanting, you know, to fill your pockets, then you're a fucking piece of shit. So,
well,
you know, unfortunately, layoffs happen. But you know, if it's a legitimate reason for a layoff, but unfortunately, that's not always the case.
I feel like most of the time it ain't the case.
Yeah, and that's just fucking that's fucked up.
A lot of it, I feel like a lot of it is over hiring too.
yeah,
That
they
could be
definitely
If you ever
possible
look
too.
at the
That's true.
credits, dude. Like some of the
true, that could be
credits are longer than fucking movies, dude. Like I don't know.
over hiring. They also wanted to, it was like during the pandemic, all of a sudden, they're like, gaming's doing amazing. Hire
Yeah.
everyone. And all of a
But the
sudden,
problem
like,
is
yeah.
if you overhire, that's your fucking fault. Don't make somebody else suffer for it, though.
Yeah.
And that's where even I think Nintendo and a couple other studios touched on it, that they didn't have these swafting hiring sprees that a lot of the bigger studios, that a lot of publishers and studios had, causing it to where like, gaming's great, hire everyone. Gaming's bad, fire everyone. Really?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, all right. That, like, well, I guess that will kind of like, we'll educate what's going on with Baldur's Gate 3. I'm trying to find his actual speech.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I saw something about that too. I didn't read completely into it, but I did see something about that.
What
I
did
was
you
actually
see about it?
surprised they even let him say shit like that. I was like, okay, cool.
I can't remember exactly what the basis was behind it, but I do remember seeing something about it, though. That guy, you know, was talking on the stage and right before one of the awards or something.
Before the Game of the Year award.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. So, Mickey, what happened was last year, the director for Baldur's Gate 3 and two of his developers that joined him on stage to accept the award for Game of the Year. There's the terms. Sorry, I had to switch the video. Last year it was like Jeff Keighley wanted to shoot, because of like the year before that people were making too long of speeches. So last year Jeff Keighley decided to like make it to where you get off the get your trophy and get off the stage. Um, and so the director for Baldur's Gate 3 was not given a lot of time for his acceptance speech, and he was basically unceremoniously rushed off stage by them having the orchestra start playing music to get him off stage. So
Okay.
that's why he came out this year, and he made a joke saying that he still has credits left over from last year to finish his speech. So he said he made a joke in a statement where it was about the Game of the Year award winner. He says that he talked to an oracle, and the oracle told me that Game of the Year 2025 was going to be made by a studio who found the formula to make it up here on stage. It's stupidly simple, but somehow it keeps on getting lost. The studio that made their game the way they wanted to make a game that they wanted to play themselves. They created it because it hadn't been created before. They didn't make this game to increase market share. They didn't make it to serve as a brand. They didn't have to meet arbitrary sales targets or fear being laid off if they didn't meet those targets. And furthermore, the people in charge forbade them from cramming this game with anything whose only purpose was to increase revenue and did not serve the game design. They did not treat their developers like numbers on a spreadsheet. They did not treat their players as users to exploit, and they did not make decisions they knew were short-sighted in function of bonus or politics. They knew that if you put the game and the team first, the revenue will follow. And the speech was a little bit bigger than that, but you kind of get the gist of it. He gave this whole speech, and he actually got, and I don't think the camera panned, but I think he even got like a little bit of a standing ovation from a lot of the developers in the room. I couldn't speak for the executives, but I know that he basically very quickly cut down like how the publishers and the C-level executives of these publishers and these bigger AAA development studios that literally treat their employees like numbers on a spreadsheet. He came out and gave this speech just before giving Game of the Year. And it just seems like this is where Mickey, Jacob, everybody in the chat, we need to keep this discussion going. Because Mari even says it best. Publishers and investors are not game developers. They don't know what makes a fun game. Exactly. And that's why they need to trust the process in the developers knowing what makes a fun game. And that being said, it's just, I feel like we need to keep the conversation going, because the only way I believe that everybody wants to be treated better at work. And it all starts with setting a precedence. And that's where we just got to keep the conversation going, that there has to be a precedence that, you shouldn't be treating people like this. And it just makes you look bad as a company. But then it also comes down to do we still buy these games? Like, how do you really set a precedence? It starts with a conversation, but then you got to really start figuring out, like, if companies keep doing this, the only other thing you have to do is to start speaking with your wallet. And are people willing to do that? Mickey, Jacob, do you think
that's
happened?
the problem, is getting enough people to do it, because it takes a certain amount of people to do that, to actually make the financial point.
Like, we're so willing to not buy a game because there's a woman in it with a shaved head, or there's like just something in it that makes it seem like it's political, or what have you, whatever. It goes against your ideals politically, or what have you. But when it comes to the mistreatment of a human being, I'm cool with that. I'll still buy it.
I feel like that's every product. So people are desensitized to it because of China.
Probably desensitized. I'd probably agree with that.
Because, your fucking iPhone. You know how that's made. Let's not get into that.
All pretty
True.
much all semiconductors are made in about 3 factories in the same part of the world, for the most part.
Yeah, and also when you work in a fab like that, dude, the hours are insane. And
Oh, some of those semiconductor factories have actual apartment complexes as part of the property. Like you don't even get far from your job.
fuck no. You go upstairs, you go to sleep, and then you return to your 18-hour shift or whatever the fuck it is. And that's like I don't know, they've done a good job at like making the population think that's like an amazing thing. like everyone over there, they go to school like 16 hours a day, and it's like all to try to get in like a semiconductor fab, and it's fucking insane.
Faded Blaze, we'll get on that here in a second, because trust me, I'm pretty sure neither one of these guys know about what Alana Pierce has said. I don't even know these guys know who Alana Pierce is. I do.
I think I know the name.
Yeah, she's been around, game journalist, got into game development, very outspoken about certain political stances in gaming. But definitely she kind of like stuck her foot in her mouth that it seems like she basically told some mistruths. So
Mistruths.
yeah, so like I guess we'll get into this whole conversation about treating developers properly was done just before the Game of the Year award. So after the game director for Baldur's Gate 3 did this, he handed out the Game of the Year award. We heard all the what's the words, the candidates for the award. We had Baltero, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, which we saw them change the rules to all of a sudden include DLC for Game of the Year, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Metaphor ReFantazio. Out of all of the games that were on there, I was more on the Metaphor ReFantazio train because I actually enjoyed it. Well, Astrobot was part of one of the candidates. Astrobot walked away with the award. That is where the controversy starts. So for starters, there is a lot of angry people out there that really feel that Black Myth Wukong was done very unjustly because the game was bigger than Astrobot. There is definitely some stuff going on behind the scenes, like back in 2003, at least from what I've read and seen, IGN did a little bit of a hit piece on on Black Myth Wukong because it was like sexist. Like they're like, there's not a female character in the game until like such and such time into the game. And I'm just like, oh boy, the game is about monkeys, but here we are, going down the road, there's no female character. Like, I'm just like,
people will bitch about anything.
I know.
It's so freaking stupid.
Apparently there's not a prevalent female character in the game until a couple hours in.
Oh my God.
Okay.
But The Witcher only has a female character, dude. Fuck that. What the hell?
But this led to some controversy saying, was the game denied Game of the Year because it didn't tick all the boxes for, like inclusion or whatever. I hope it's not something that stupid. I also hope it's not something along the lines of Jeff Keighley putting on his PlayStation pajamas and showing that once again, PlayStation is like, the fan favorite of the Game Awards. Like, Jeff Keighley is one of those guys where it does seem like he's unusually fond of PlayStation, but very hypercritical of Xbox. But that led to some controversy floating around about so there was an article that was released. And it led because this article was around the idea because apparently people are now review bombing Baldur's Gate 3 because of Swin Vecchi's comments, the game director for Baldur's Gate 3. It all has to do with, like, the funny part is Swin Vecchi's comments were translated into Chinese very horribly, which caused some backlash from the Chinese market. But then comments from the developer of Black Myth Wukong, who is Chinese, his comments were translated wrong, which created some controversy already. But then Alana Pierce went down this rabbit hole of making some statements that seemed to be completely untrue. So the first thing is with the statements from, at least when it comes to the statements from both the game director of Baldur's Gate 3 and the game director of Black Myth Wukong. Hold on, I'm pulling my notes up real quick. Okay, there we go. So, Baldur's Gate 3 is experiencing a wave of review bombing on Steam, particularly from fans of Black Myth Wukong following the Game Awards 2024. The backlash seems to stem from Swin Vecchi's speech during the ceremony, where he stated that the Game of the Year winner didn't have to meet arbitrary sales targets and didn't treat developers like numbers on a spreadsheet. Some fans interpreted these comments as a dismissive of game sales, leading to frustration. Additionally, Black Myth Wukong fans are upset that their game, despite strong sales and nominations, lost Game of the Year to Astrobot. Now, let's just Black Myth Wukong did walk away with Player's Choice Award, but it's not that end-all, be-all, Game of the Year. The controversy was further fueled by potential mistranslations of Vecchi's speech, as well as comments from Black Myth producer Feng Ji questioning the Game of the Year criteria. And that's where, according to at least what was said, is it sounded like the developer for Black Myth Wukong was very unhappy, and that he was wanting to understand the criteria for Game of the Year. And it made it sound like the people in charge of the development of Black Myth Wukong were very salty about Astrobot winning this award. And then, to compound the issue, Alana Pierce, who happens to be a very predominant, influential individual in the gaming industry, who's been in gaming media, gaming journalism, part of the gaming media, very fondly looked at by the gaming media, very fondly looked at by the PlayStation community, because she's had ties to Sony Santa Monica. I think she just actually, I want to say, retired from Sony Santa Monica. So she's been in the game industry for a very long time and very outspoken about certain aspects of the gaming. And she said that she was in the front row and that she saw that some of the one of the developers for Black Myth Wukong, who was ready for them to get Game of the Year, started crying when Astrobot won.
I saw that too.
And that the main guy that was there apparently the main guy that was there had written, according to some of the stuff that was in the article, that he had written his speech 2 years in advance before going to the Game Awards. So he had written an acceptance speech 2 years ahead of time, the game coming out. But at any rate, when you go back and look at the footage, this developer looks like he has a smile on his face. He's applauding for the guy. So he's either really good at hiding it or something's amiss here. And that's where the developer, or the guy that apparently apparently the internet said was salty, unhappy that he lost, came out and said that he had no such feelings and that he actually does not recollect one of his team members even crying. So this totally, for starters, we already have a controversy around the fact that Astrobot took Game of the Year over a game that was very, very successful and a very big fan favorite. And now it's even compounded by an even bigger controversy that now here we have a ex-PlayStation developer creating rumors. So I'm just at this year, with the game, the Game Awards to me has always been controversial and they've done questionable things, but this year I think has been the most controversial and like WTF what the fuck moment that I can recall.
Dude, they're doing Game of Thrones shit now, bro. They're fucking getting
They're doing Game of Thrones.
They're fucking, yeah. I don't know, dude. That's what it sounds like to me, dude. Also, the Game of Thrones was fucking announced. I don't know what that's about. That was an oddball. I feel like that announcement.
Like,
yeah, that Game of Thrones game.
Yeah, I was like, who is this made for, bro?
Oh, for Game of Thrones?
Yeah, like 6 years too late, dude. What?
Oh, we're no longer making this show. I think we should make a game.
Yeah, you killed the show, dude. I don't know that. Oh man, I don't know. I thought that was like, I couldn't even believe it. My friend, he instantly saw the snow and was like, "It's Game of Thrones," and I was like, "There's no fucking way." And he's like, "Dude, I was just fucking around. It is Game of Thrones."
He's over here like Emperor Palpatine. No, it can't be. No, and all of a sudden it is.
I did it with Shadow of the Erdtree, Elden Ring. As soon as I saw the water, I was like, "Yeah, Elden Ring." He's like, "How can you tell?" And he did it with fucking Game of Thrones, but yeah.
In that voice.
But yeah, he sounds like that, like a little bit, yeah, actually. How can you tell? Exactly like that, nasally, kind of like Eddie, but a little bit, you know.
Oh my god!
Hey, quick!
We're ragging on Eddie in the podcast.
I mean, I do that voice around him all day. He knows.
That man is probably sitting at home right now smoking a cigarette like, my ear is ringing.
He's probably asleep, dude. He's like an old man, dude.
Oh my god.
The day I come into work and he goes, "Did you have a good day off?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How about you?" He's like, "I just had a really good nap." That was like the highlight of his day. I was like, "This guy's old, dude. Holy shit."
Mickey's like, I can relate.
I'm like, shit, dude, we have good naps, but that's not like, god damn, dude. That was the highlight of your day off. That was a slow ass day, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. It just sounds Game of Thronesy, dude. Like, I don't know. They're all fucking like, what's going on, bro?
So
yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Like, Mickey, how do you feel about Astrobot and like everything that's like taking place with like normally you just see like console war shenanigans of like, oh, my game took game of the year, yours didn't, you know, my game's better than yours. But this year it really seems like the gaming journalists and the gaming journalists decided like, hey, we don't have enough controversy. Let's stir some shit up. And like to the point where developers had to start coming out and be like, that's not what we said. You're mistranslating what we're saying. And it's like now been like, this is what we're saying. Like the gaming media is perpetuously creating drama that's not fucking there to justify their own existence.
Well, even if, which, according to what I've seen, is Black Myth Wukong, who should have probably won it. But when you start acting like that, though, it does make you look like, you know, like you're spiteful and stuff like that. So,
well,
because you didn't.
Apparently the developer came out and actually spoke out against the rumors that are like, he came out and like clarified that he's actually not salty at all, that they're actually mistranslating his statements to like fit a narrative.
Well, I mean, then it's not a discussion.
But I'm just saying, but to me, it's more like the bigger discussion of like, this is the biggest problem that we have right now outside of what publishers and investors are doing to the developers that build these games. We also have the other half of the equation with these gaming journalists, a vast majority of them that only know how to justify their existence by creating hit pieces and somehow the spread of like twisting stuff into practical misinformation to basically,
we know video game journalism is bullshit. So.
To me, gaming journalism is as broke as the gaming industry when it comes to the treatment of the individuals involved. Because like to me, these gaming journalists have no problem talking mad shit. And then all of a sudden they come in here like, what happened? Why'd the studio get closed? What happened? Well, you badmouthed them so much, and the investors saw it, and they shut them down. What do you think happened?
Yeah, there's a shit ton of bias and way too many fucking opinions,
Like,
Yeah.
and that
I feel like
that hurts.
IGN is very opinion based. He's right about that. Like specifically, IGN is on my fucking brain.
well, that's the funny
Yeah.
part is so actually, from what I'm correct, Alana Pierce actually has connections to IGN, and it's really interesting that IGN actually was one of the gaming journalists that actually called Black Myth Wukong sexist. So it's almost like this is the idea.
Okay, I know who this lady is. All right.
Okay. Oh, see, yeah, exactly. You know who she is all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know exactly. This is the lady who said IGN's 7 score is really a 5 score, and I don't know, like, dude, it was a crazy argument. Like, I don't know if you want me to go into it, but basically she was saying that like they're not gonna give a game a 5 when they got like an early review copy and shit because it's like disrespectful, even though like that's their whole fucking motive, dude. Like, review the fucking game so I can buy it or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, her whole fucking argument was, we're all just people, and my opinion is no more like valid or invalid than yours. And it's like,
Not
you're
really.
a
When you
game.
work in the gaming industry, I can't call up some of these people and get fucking statements out of them. So I'm sorry.
Exactly. That was her whole fucking opinion, and like, I don't know. It's like these are the people that are working at IGN, I guess. Okay, this is kind of weird. Okay, and it's just like, yeah. So these are the people working at IGN. Dude. So if you see a 7, don't buy it. Probably.
But we're also talking about IGN, the company that basically has flat out made it like almost like insinuated that if you don't give us a review copy, we'll make hit pieces all day long on you, and we'll basically run your game into the fucking ground.
Yeah, and then if it's a mediocre game, but they gave them a fucking review copy, they'll give you a 7 because it was disrespectful.
No,
But
they were being respectful.
No, I'm saying that's what the lady was saying. She was saying if they give them an early review and it's a bad game, they'll give them like a 7 to make it seem like better. Because it's like disrespectful to give them a 5 because they gave them an early review copy. So like they don't want to sour the reputation between the like devs in case there's another game that comes out later. She was saying something like that. And she was getting blasted on Twitter. This is like a couple months ago, I think.
Oh, she's also said that if parents don't know how to control their kids, or she made a comment that said something about like if parents don't know how to pause the video game for their kids, that they're disabled. Like, I mean, she's made some pretty like off the wall fucking comments that I don't. Based. I know. So like, I'm like,
chill out, lady.
And that's where I'm just like, I think it's interesting that I'm just like, are we like cooking up stories now because it's just like we need clicks, revenues
Probably,
down?
Yeah, dude. Probably, yeah. There wasn't enough bangers, dude, at the fucking Game Awards. So now you Black Myth Wukong, he's crying. Yeah, why not? Just fucking send it, boys.
Like, it's like the gaming gaming journalism and gaming as a whole, like, share the same disease. And that's to drive revenue rather than, to present a decent game or to present a logical, well-written, rounded editorial piece. We're more concerned about getting clicks. With video games, it's microtransactions. With sites like IGN, Kotaku, Wall Street Journal, what have you, it's all about that ad revenue. And that's why whenever you're on dude, sometimes visiting some of these sites on your phone is absolute trash.
Oh my God, dude.
You can't even read the damn article because it's just covered in tiles of advertisements.
And the ads are like fucking like size for the phone, even though the whole website is like
their container boxes are not done right, so the ads will bleed out of the container box, or the container boxes are misaligned with the strips to hold all the editorial shit. It's like the ad container box has more priority over the strip where you have all your actual text for the article. So it will literally, the ad container will overlap over the stuff you're trying to read, where you can't even read like the top 3 sentences because it's covered by the ad.
Yeah, and then you get the cookies pop up too halfway through reading the shit, and it just makes you want to fucking go ape shit.
Would you like to see ads tailored to you? Cookies.
Yeah, I'm trying to fucking read about how this lady's spreading fucking misinformation about Chinese people, dude. No. Fuck you and your cookies.
Oh my God. But all right. Anybody else want to add anything on?
Yeah.
Or we got Mickey's already like at that time.
Mickey's like falling asleep. He's like, dude, wrap it up, man.
He starts playing music over his microphone like it's the Game Awards, like wrap it up.
I knew it was done when that's how he went offline on fucking Path of Exile. I was like, yeah, he's done.
He's done. Jacob's on his computer like, I see you. I know you're online.
I didn't even know he was on. I just saw him get off. I was like, oh.
All right.
No, I mean, it just sounds crazy. I was hoping for an Armored Core 7.
There was a mech game that looks like they're doing some kind of like online multiplayer.
It was like that. It was like that. Was that the dragon one or is that something else?
I don't know.
Did
I know it
you
was
see
like
the,
an online multiplayer game that was like
the game that's being created by the guys that made Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good one. I did not fucking even remember that. Yeah, I'm hyped for that. That shit looked sick.
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't even know what it's about, and I'm gonna buy it, dude. It looked amazing. I don't even care. Did you see that, Phil?
Yes. There's also Steel Hunters.
Steel Hunters? Is that the mech game?
I believe so.
See, it's not. I don't know.
Closed all my shit.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of There was a lot of games that came out. New multiplayer mech game at Game Awards.
Yeah, that one looks sick though. What was that called?
Mecha Break.
Right? Mecha Break. Yeah, that one looked alright. I think so. Yeah, that one looked alright. But that Shadow of the Colossus game looked fucking. Dude, yeah, that's gonna be sick. I'm curious
what that's gonna be like because all it does is show him scaling the mech and then trying to fly off in the head, and then all of a sudden.
Dude, just based off of the like design of that mech thing, dude, I'm in. It looks sick as fuck.
Faded Blaze ended off with gaming journalism is as bad as politics and the left media.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. Exactly the same thing I was thinking.
Yep. He sounds like a Gundam viewer, dude.
That's funny.
Like a what was his name? Like a Gundam?
It's a Gundam.
Oh, yeah. It's a Gundam. He's definitely got some funny content. I'll at least skim that.
Dude.
That dude has a way he has a way of editing that I really enjoy.
He could be a fucking full-on comedian, dude.
So, all right, guys, we got to get Mickey to his bedtime, and Jacob's probably not far behind him.
Yeah, I'm tired. Dude. My eyes are rolling in the back of my head.
Jacob, we really appreciate you always wanting to come here.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, bud.
You were like, I'm gonna veg out tonight. Well, you want to join a conversation instead of staring at a wall?
Yeah. I'm like over here talking like fucking. Like, oh, my eyes are rolling in the back of my head. I think you know what that's alluding to. Oh, but yeah, it was cool. Right. Game Awards were fun.
Right. So, everybody, do you want to just at least kind of like, give out your outros like I guess we do, even though I'm pretty sure people don't come find us most of the time?
No, not me at least.
We'll go Jacob first.
Just Riftacle on Steam, RAFTACLE.
All right.
That's it.
Mickey?
Obviously, Psychosemantic on Xbox Live. I don't really get on, like I said last time, I don't really get on the social media stuff. So Xbox is the thing. And if you see us hanging out, come join us.
Yes, if you see us on Xbox, you're always more than welcome to come join us. Hell, guys, if you're not one of those that like Discords, we actually do. That's how we're actually meeting in a Discord server, but we don't have like a big like a community manager and stuff like that. It's like almost like an empty room half the damn time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm obviously Centurion 1307. You can always find me right here on this channel. You can also find me at Centurion 1307 on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it this week. You can also find me on Xbox Live, Instagram, Facebook. I'm all over the
What
damn
about
place.
Blue Sky, dude?
I know I got to build a Blue Sky because it looks like every day I go by, it's just like, oh, people are leaving Twitter.
Dude, Steam made a Blue Sky. That's how you know it's going to be the next big thing.
Right. But one thing we want to get out of the way real quick, guys, is also we want you to have a safe and happy holidays. Whether you celebrate the main holidays or you don't, no matter what you do, this is obviously just that time of year where we're gonna close out the year. So I want everybody to have a safe, happy holidays. That includes New Year's. And definitely let's get some gaming in. Let's enjoy a little bit of time off from work for those that are able to. And I really definitely, and we all enjoy doing this for you guys, so we definitely want to see you guys next time we do a show, and we don't want to hear that anything happen to you guys over on the holiday week.
Yo,
True
watch
that.
for the drunk fucking drivers, bro.
I know.
That's true.
So, and the only reason why I say that is because I'm not sounding to say cheesy, guys, but the town I grew up in, there was nothing more than to do drugs or drink. And I cannot count how many friends I have on one hand that are not with us today because of alcoholic related incidences. Some of them were pretty damn tragic. And that's why I say, yeah, please don't drink and drive. I'm not going to freaking try to sound cheesy in saying that, but it just sucks that I know that many people that have died from vehicular incidences involving alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, guys, everybody, I hope you have a great night. We appreciate you listening to us. Happy holidays and all that good jazz once again. And always just play what you want, no matter where you want, whether you're Xbox, PlayStation, or PC in Jacob's matter, or hell on a Nintendo Switch, or if you just really prefer to be on mobile. I mean, there's even stuff showing up on mobile now. The Game Awards showed a lot of shit for mobile. So, yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and everybody have a good night.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
See ya.